A very good morning, students. Today we will study about the most important biological process, that is photosynthesis. As it is performed by green plants, some algae, and in bacteria, it comes under autotrophic nutrition. Auto means self, troph means nourishment. Now see, after splitting the word photosynthesis, you will come to know that photo means light, synthesis means to make food. Because out of this process, food and oxygen are the two major things which we get. I told you that this is the most important biological process because in this process you get two things from the nature, that is glucose and oxygen. Oxygen is given out through stomata. It is given out, it is released out through stomata, so you can make arrowhead like this in upward position. So when 6 molecules of carbon dioxide combines with 6 molecules of water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, then we get glucose and oxygen. So we can say that this is the most important process in this living world because we get two gifts from the nature, that is glucose and oxygen. These are the things which we get. So what are the raw materials? The raw material is carbon dioxide and water. These will be in the reactant side, and when they combine together, then on the product side we will get two products, that is glucose and oxygen. So what is the role of chlorophyll here in this very important process? The chlorophyll is a green pigment which is present in leaves, and this chlorophyll traps or captures sunlight. Light is a form of energy. For doing any work we require energy. Same way for this process, that is photosynthesis, that also requires energy because here two things have to combine together, that is carbon dioxide and water. How they will combine together? They will combine when there will be light energy. Sun is the ultimate source of energy. Because of this, these two combine together, old bonds break up and new bonds are formed, and ultimately we get two gifts from the plants, that is food and oxygen. We can define it in a different way, that photosynthesis is a conversion of light energy or the solar energy into chemical energy. So initially this process is initiated by light energy, and then ultimately we get new chemicals. That's why we say it is converted into light energy, is finally converted into chemical energy. And role of chlorophyll is very important and crucial because chlorophyll traps sun energy for photosynthesis, and for doing any work we require energy. Now in this slide you will see gaseous exchange, how the gases are exchanged. Gas used is carbon dioxide and byproduct is oxygen. You know, in the reactant side, in previous slide I had written carbon dioxide. So this is the gas which is used, and carbon dioxide has entered through the stomata only, and the oxygen, which is the byproduct, it is also released through the stomata. So stomata are the tiny pores. So here gaseous exchange takes place. During photosynthesis, carbon dioxide enters and oxygen moves out. So this is how gaseous exchange takes place through these tiny pores called stomata. But this is just opposite during respiration. During respiration, gaseous exchange will be like oxygen will come inside and carbon dioxide will move outside. So this happens during respiration, and this kind of gaseous exchange happens during photosynthesis. So we say stomata are the tiny pores which are majorly present on the undersurface of the leaves, and it helps in exchange of gases. During photosynthesis, carbon dioxide enters and oxygen leaves, and during respiration, just like us, they also require oxygen. So oxygen gets inside and carbon dioxide moves outside. That's why we say that stomata helps in exchange of gases. And here we are talking about the photosynthesis process, so we are more focused on gas used is carbon dioxide and byproduct is oxygen. Now source of raw material, how the carbon dioxide enters, how carbon dioxide the plants get, the land plants get carbon dioxide from air and aquatic plants get carbon dioxide from the water. Okay, and now water and mineral, what is the source of water and mineral? Because next is two things are required, that is carbon dioxide plus water. So carbon dioxide the plants get, land plants get from the air and water plants get from the water itself, but water and mineral they get from the soil. So this is the source of raw material they have. Now next slide is related to pigments. Pigments, that is chlorophyll. In general we talk about chlorophyll because its role is major and bigger. There are two types of chlorophyll, chlorophyll A and B. These two chlorophylls, they are involved in trapping or capturing the solar light and they convert it into chemical energy. So what is the role of xanthophylls, and so what will be the role of xanthophylls and carotenes? Basically xanthophylls are yellow pigments and carotenes are orange pigments. Other pigments are also present in leaves, so I have given their name. So these pigments are also important and they also perform their role in photosynthesis, but they just absorb the solar radiation and they give the radiation to the chlorophyll molecule. So they are just acting as assistants. Majorly the trapping of solar radiation is done by chlorophyll and the role of it is done by chlorophyll, and the role of these two are the accessory pigments. They act as assistants or the accessory pigment. They also trap the solar radiation and give it to the chlorophyll molecule. So basically chlorophyll traps solar radiation and other pigments like xanthophylls which give yellow pigment to the plants and carotenes which give yellow pigment to the plant, they also trap but they play secondary role or just like an assistant. They just trap it and give it to the chlorophyll molecule. Now next and very important topic is what are the steps of photosynthesis. As we all know, photosynthesis takes place in steps. First step of photosynthesis is absorption of the light. As in the previous slides, we have seen photosynthesis in a form of equation. Carbon dioxide combines with water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll and give glucose and oxygen. This equation seems to be very simple, but actually speaking, this process is very complicated. It takes place in two steps. First is light reaction or the light step, and second is dark step or the dark phase. So in light phase, actually first phase starts with absorption of the light. First stage is absorption of the light by chlorophyll. When the chlorophyll it absorbs light, then the water molecule which is present on the reactant side, that gets split up. You know, photosynthesis is carbon dioxide plus water, and then you get food and oxygen, food plus oxygen. This much you know. So in first step, when chlorophyll it will trap solar radiation, first step will be the absorption of light by the chlorophyll. Chlorophyll absorbs the light. Second will be the splitting of water molecule. The water will split up, it will break off, its constituents will break off because of that light energy, and that step is known as hydrolysis of water or photolysis. Lysis means breaking, photo means light, hydro means water and lysis means breaking. So because of this light, first step happens is breakage of the water molecule. This step is known as, second step, it is known as photolysis of water. So these three basically. And now what happens? Conversion of light energy. Whatever light energy the chlorophyll has trapped, it is used in splitting of water molecule. Now we will get water molecule will split into H ions and oxygen plus some electrons. H ions, oxygen and electron. This water splitting, this process is known as photolysis. Splitting of water into some H ions, oxygen and electron. This is known as photolysis of water, and this has happened because chlorophyll has trapped solar radiation. Now we say that chemical light energy is converted into chemical energy ultimately, because these will be required later on to form some chemicals. Okay, so these three steps basically, that is absorption of the light by chlorophyll, splitting of the water molecule and conversion of light energy to chemical energy, they will consider to be the part of light phase, because here light is required. Now when there is no light, like during night time, now second phase of the photosynthesis will be started. So second phase is the reduction of carbon dioxide to water. Now carbon dioxide in second phase, the carbon dioxide will be reduced to water, because we know till time first of the reactant, that is water, is splitted into H ions, electrons and oxygen is released in this process. Now during night time what happens? Carbon dioxide will be reduced to carbohydrate. Second product will be formed. In light phase, first product was formed, that is oxygen, and during night time now carbon dioxide will be reduced to carbohydrate. So how this reduction happens? Basically this reduction requires some energy, but now there is no light energy. This last step is happening during night time, dark phase. So this energy will be provided by ATP and NADPH. These two energy chemicals, high energy chemicals, are formed during light phase, when there was a splitting of water molecule. So these two chemicals are formed. They are also known as assimilatory powers. So these two assimilatory powers will be used up in dark phase, so that there will be reduction of carbon dioxide into carbohydrate. Now in this slide I have shown you the difference between light reaction and dark reaction. You see here, you know light reaction. What is light reaction? Trapping of the sun rays and splitting of water molecule. These two steps are the light phase that happened in the grana. Grana is the part of chloroplast. If you remember chloroplast, inside chloroplast there are small structures, coin like structures, which are piled one over the another. They are called grana. Okay, so light phase happens in the granum, because inside granum there is chlorophyll, and chlorophyll traps solar radiation. So we can say that in light phase you require light, and it happens in grana. Dark phase happens in the stroma. Stroma is like this. It is a chloroplast. These are coin like structures are grana. In these grana chlorophyll is present, and the background, this background which is not having anything, this background is known as stroma, and dark phase happens in stroma. Light in grana, this one, and dark in this background, that is stroma. Okay, so this is how for this you must revise the parts of chloroplast. Light is needed here. In this, light is needed. It is light dependent process. It happens during daytime, and in this light is not required. Third is ATP and NADPH are produced here. How ATP and NADPH are produced? These are the chemicals, high energy chemicals, and they are produced during light phase when the water was splitted. It's splitted into H ions, electrons, etc., and ultimately by the process of photophosphorylation these two are produced. Okay, these two are the energy compounds, chemicals, and now they will be used up in dark reaction, because here there is no form of energy. Here light energy was there, here there is no form of energy. So how the energy this step is using? It is using the energy of ATP and NADPH. Now see, no sugar formation takes place here. Here sugar means food, and in dark phase sugar is produced. Here oxygen was produced, because when there was photolysis, oxygen was produced by breaking of the water molecule, and here sugar is produced, that is food is produced, because carbon dioxide was reduced to carbohydrate. Thank you.